I'm Barbara Miller, one of the co-founders of the Indigenous Friends of Israel, and I would urge people to support the Never Again rallies against anti-Semitism in Melbourne on May the 19th and in Brisbane on June the 9th. I am very disturbed, as are our members, about Australia's recognition of Palestine at the recent vote of the United Nations General Assembly, especially as we are on the eve of the 76th anniversary of the State of Israel as it was proclaimed in 14th of May 1948, 76 years ago. And such a historic occasion. And here we have Australia letting down, betraying the only democratic state in the Middle East and the only Jewish state in the whole world. There are many, many Arab states, only one Jewish state, and what we have is terrorist groups wanting to wipe Israel off the map from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. Iran and its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, militias in Syria and Iraq, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Fatah, and the rest of them. Even Al-Qaeda and Islamic State are operating in the West Bank. And so this is Jew hatred, and we cannot be tolerating it as a freedom-loving nation in Australia who loves human rights and presumably would want peace and not war, and would want love and not hate. Israel is defending itself. It didn't start this war. It doesn't want this war, but it has been forced to defend itself because of the horrendous acts of terrorism and barbarism and rape and mutilation and torture that occurred on October the 7th of civilians. This is a war crime. And the taking of hostages is a war crime. And yet all the fingers are pointed at Israel, not at Hamas. Hamas is not being held to account by the nations. Australia was the first country to vote in favour of Israel at the United Nations in the 1947 resolution regarding petitioning of what was then the British mandate, or mandatory Palestine, as some have called it. And the Palestinians had the opportunity of having their own state then, because the United Nations decided to divide the land that had been the British mandate since World War I, or just after that, into two states, Jewish and Arab. But the Arabs would not accept it, the Jewish people did. So Australia was the first country to recognise Israel, doing so in May 1949, and Doc Evatt presided over the vote, which admitted Israel to the UN, Doc Evatt being a famous Australian. So now Australia's record of standing up for Israel has been tarnished